In this video, I'm going to be sharing the raw reality of how it's like to actually start a business in your late teens or in your early 20s. I started my first business when I was 19 years old and made a decent amount of money doing so. I've now since transitioned to a more online based model to essentially work from anywhere. Now I work with multi-million dollar brands and understand what kind of creative works when they run ads. And so that's what I'm doing currently, and it's really fun. Now, if you guys have any questions at all, definitely comment below, because while the channel is small, I can still answer questions. And when I get bigger, I won't be able to do that. So there is a very small window for me to actually interact one-on-one. Now, in the last video, I got a lot of comments on how to actually start a business. And a lot of you guys in the comments actually did not have the right mindset when asking the questions. So there's a lot of preconceived notions that need to be cleared up. And I want to help you through this video to really unpack what it actually takes from you. Hopefully you would be able to succeed from my personal experience. But before that, my name is Farid, and for those of you guys who are new here, welcome. I'm essentially using this channel to document my journey from zero all the way up to $100 million in profit, and essentially using this channel as a means to document and journal entry my life and share the wins and share the losses so that others who want to be in a position of high net worth can learn from. How do you actually start a business? First and foremost, what is a business to you? And number two, why do you want to start a business? These two questions are the things that you need to answer yourself before you even start thinking about what kind of business model you're trying to start. Simply because there's a million and one ways for you to start a business. There really is. And there's a million ways for you to get to $1 million. It's all a matter of finding the business model that fits with your purpose. Maybe you don't really need $100,000 a month. Maybe $10,000 a month is where you should be sitting at. And there's different business models that would be best suited for those different goals. So your job now, right after this video, is to actually define why you want to start a business in the first place and get down to the actual reason and motivation behind it. Because I can tell you from experience, if you don't get this right, you are going to be depressed and you're going to get really lost in life, because business is a lot harder than just having a 9-to-5 job. That's just facts. Simply because you have to wear all of the hats. You have to do all of the marketing. You have to reach out to the clients yourself. You have to wake up early to make sure that you have enough time in the day for you to work, for you to have a break, for you to go to the gym, for you to have enough working capacity for you to fit within a single day, for you to even succeed in business. And you have to do this every single day for weeks, for months, for years, without expecting anything in return. So you have to go into business with that kind of mindset, and because that's the reality of business. When a lot of my friends say they want to start a business, I look at them and I'm like, with the way you're living now and with the way you're working now, you're not going to make it. Simply because you can imagine having to wear all of the hats at the same time. It's not something that's fun. And sometimes people might pick a business model that they don't even like in the first place, and they waste months at a time on something that they don't even like doing. So what's the point of choosing a business model that you don't even like and finding out months, maybe years later, that you fucked yourself over? I don't want that to happen to you, okay? And the best way to start is to figure out what your hobbies and passions are. Now, I'm sure you've heard this a billion times, but it's genuinely true. You want to make sure and position yourself such that every time you wake up in the morning, you have a reason and you want to do it. It's if you're playing video games, for example, and you wake up early to play video games, obviously it's something that's fun to do. It's not work, it's play. And from all the multi-million dollar business owners that I've gotten the opportunity to talk to or to listen to, that's exactly the mindset going into the actual grind of the business. Because approaching business is not like approaching a job. It isn't. First and foremost, in business, the common misconception that a lot of people have is that, oh, I'm going to become my own boss and I get to set my own hours, or I don't get to report to anyone. That's the biggest lie I've seen ever. Because if you want to get into business because of money only, you're really just not going to make it. At that point, you're better off just getting a 9-to-5 job and getting money that way, because business is a lot more than just money. And in any business, the focus on the customer becomes a big focal point on how you're going to succeed. Like understanding what a customer wants, what problem they want solved. And this is across not only products-based business, but service as well. Software, physical, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, you're serving a human being through which that customer is going to give you money for whatever you're trying to produce, whether it's a service or a product. Once you start a business, every client that you have or every customer that you have is your boss. If you don't serve their needs, they're not going to give you any money. That's the reality. So when you start a business, keep in mind that you will not only have one boss, every single person you work with is in a way your boss. So you work for them, not them working for you. Why do you want to start a business and why is it important to you? Get down to the nitty gritty. Let's say, oh, I want to start a business because I want to get rich. Why do you want to get rich? Oh, I want to travel the world. Okay, why do you want to travel the world? Keep asking whys until you get to the root motivation as to why you want to start a business. From there, figure out the other avenues that you could possibly get money from. And this is from personal experience. Trust me, I've had to pivot my business model a couple times because I made this exact mistake, is that I didn't draw out a proper purpose sheet as to why I wanted to start something in the first place. A lot of people waste time. They go into a business model that they don't even like doing and they procrastinate, they leave things to the last minute and they get really sloppy. So why do you want to get into a particular business model is something that you need to iron out really at the start of your journey, because once you get your why, you understand the purpose as to what you're trying to do. And that gives you motivation to wake up every single day and it wouldn't be a slog, because you have to understand that the working hours in a business is a lot different from the 9 to 5, because balance in business is really, from what I've seen and experienced, not considered balanced. For example, you could wake up really early and start working 12, 14 hours. One day, another day you're working 10 hours, another day you're working 12 hours. It's something that you need to pick very carefully in terms of what you want to do as a business. Now, I've been editing videos for a long time, since I was a kid, and I've been editing videos for close to 10 years now. And I started when I was around 10, 11 years old, editing gaming videos with friends. And I really enjoyed the process. I really enjoyed documenting the fun experiences that I had with my friends. And that translated later on to me being able to capitalize on an opportunity to then get paid for video work. And then that is when my hobby and passion slowly became something through which I earn money for. And that's what's happening right now. You want to position yourself in a way that you are able to do what you love every single day, not something that you hate every single day. The next important step, if you want to succeed in business, earn a lot of money, for you to really unshackle your brain and your mindset as to making money is actually possible. Because 80% of the early parts of business is your mind. Like, you are literally fighting against yourself. You have doubt, you have fear, you have imposter syndrome, you have a bunch of negative things that's going to really hold you back from achieving as much potential as you should in your life. So first and foremost, you need to understand that if, let's say, you want to make $1 million in your life, you can't possibly think that $1,000 is a lot, because to a millionaire, $1,000 is chump change. So you need to position your mind now to say, okay, $1,000 isn't even that much. That's literally nothing. And what I would recommend is reading the book Think and Grow Rich, because that book would help unshackle your mindset. It will help you a lot with trying to achieve what you want out of life. You need to then understand how to craft an offer. An offer is essentially something that you package together and send it to the market to be sold. An offer exists in product business as well as service business. So you have to understand those two things. Unshackle your mind from any limiting beliefs you have around money. And number two is figuring out how to craft a really good offer. And what I would recommend is a book called $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy. His book easily made me my first $5,000. And I think I got it for $2 on Kindle, and the audiobook as well. So I would recommend reading Think and Grow Rich, $100 Million Offers, for the first two things that you read. Now, reading is going to be integral in your business life, because knowledge acquisition is going to be ongoing throughout your entire life, regardless of if you are starting at zero or if you are multimillionaire. So after you've figured that out, it's very important for you to really sharpen your skills and to learn as many new skills relevant to business as possible. Understanding profit and loss, understanding just some easy personal finance stuff to really track if you're going good or bad in business and to track your cash flow. Understanding basic finance accounting principles will do. And then after that, understanding and knowing how to actually make content. Because in any business that you do, content is increasingly becoming an important factor in how you actually get your word out. And I'm assuming that you start with, let's say, zero capital. You don't want to start running ads straight away. You're going to want to start posting organic content. And specifically where your skills would lie is showcasing that to the rest of the world. Now, how I actually got my first paycheck was through posting content. I would essentially be making these really cool edits and posting it onto my story on Instagram. And someone reached out to me and was like, hey, we need a videographer for this event that's coming up. Would pay you $125 for 2 hours, which at the time was a lot of money. So I said, yeah. And from there, the DJ got my contact details, and he was actually an event organizer. And so he wanted me on his event, and then I got paid for that, double the money. And so that compounded into slowly building that cash flow for the video business. And over time, I wasn't really satisfied because my goals at the end of the day is to achieve location freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, meaning I'll be able to work wherever I want, whenever I want, and having a physical component to video production. You have to rock up on site and all that. It wasn't really fulfilling for me personally. And so I decided to just focus on the video editing aspect of it and got really good at video editing as a skill. And now I'm working with multi-million dollar brands for their ads. It's just amazing what you can do if you start specializing in a skill that's actually monetizable. Just grab an iPhone and start gaining that ability to make content, because in the future, making content is how you market. It's why you know Alex Hormozy, it's why you know Richard Branson, it's how you know Tony Robbins, it's how you know Elon Musk, it's how you know Mark Zuckerberg. All these people have personal brands, and very strong personal brands at that. In fact, Tesla doesn't even do any marketing. SpaceX, rarely any marketing. All the marketing comes from Elon Musk's personal brand. The power of being able to understand how to make content is a skill that you need to learn as a business owner or as an aspiring entrepreneur in this coming age, especially as AI gets really big and starts to flood the feeds of people. Having an actual human being in front of a camera, like what I'm doing now, is going to be more and more important. So if you don't know how to do that, or if you have any questions about how I do things on the back end, then definitely comment below. Now, another mindset I would also recommend is that you shouldn't focus on trying to nail everything immediately. I have friends who start businesses and they're so anxious and really caught up with the details of things, and they're just, all of it is just fear of going into the unknown. And that's completely normal, and I feel the same way as well. And I have definitely experienced that. And to be honest, if you let that sink in for too long, you're going to get paralyzed in fear, and you're not going to make any progress in your business or in your endeavors, whatever it may be. Because the most important thing for you to realize is that business success comes from a lot of micro failures that you go along the way. There is this amazing analogy I heard. A plane has an autopilot, and the autopilot corrects the plane a million times over a period of time throughout the entire flight. Millions and millions of micro adjustments to the flight heading as to where its destination is, right? The autopilot is an amazing piece of technology. But here's the thing. The autopilot can only work once the plane takes off. So just start with a very basic product or service, start making videos about it, start learning that content skill, and just start posting. And posting online and building a personal brand is in itself a form of sales, which is needed in business as well. Now, people starting a business or wanting to start a business have this big misconception that you need to solve a global problem for you to be even remotely successful. Like you need to make the next Uber or you need to make the next Apple. But you don't need a concept like that. Like I literally knew how to edit videos and shoot videos, and I got paid doing it. It's as simple as that. You can literally start learning how to make content and make money from there. You know what I mean? This is the biggest misconception, but you don't need to go out of your way to find this huge problem in the market that a billion people need. Like you don't have that kind of level of business expertise. Like just calm down, first and foremost. Secondly, it's more productive for you to look inward into yourself to figure out what kind of problems do you face and are frustrated by on a daily basis. Because that in itself is an opportunity for you to monetize the solution to that problem and start selling it to people who have similar problems. In fact, that is how Virgin Australia started. Richard Branson literally didn't like flying in an airlines, and he decided to make his own. The founder of Represent, the clothing brand, just wanted to sell clothes that he couldn't find on the shelf. The founder of Culture King started selling merch because he himself was a customer of streetwear, and he has exited his company for $600 million, and I'm now working directly with him, but that's a whole other video of itself. But you get the idea, right? Look inwards into yourself, figure out what kind of problems you have, because chances are there are a bunch of other people as well in that niche market of whatever problem that you face that are wanting a solution to that. So your job as an entrepreneur isn't to make money, it is to solve problems. That's it. So for me, I looked inwards into myself, and I knew for a fact that a lot of business owners within my local area just didn't know how to do social media, simply because the business owners were just, sorry if you're old, but they were just old and they didn't know what social media was or how to go about doing it. So for me, being Gen Z, brain rot guy, I decided to go into a networking event and pretty much tell them what I was doing. And they were interested in taking me up on the offer. And that is how I got about starting out the business without any prior business owner connections. So solving a problem that you already know in a small market is enough for you to get started. And you don't need to serve 1,000 people right away. Focus on that first client is probably the most important thing. First client or first customer, first sale, because that would give that momentum and the spark for you to then keep going, right? And another thing I want to emphasize is also picking a skill that also has market potential. Get some courses, get some books, and start learning new skills to then have the potential of freelancing it and start earning an income from there, to then eventually building out an agency or maybe even selling your own products or services or courses. And also what I would recommend while doing it is to post content online about it, as I said before. If you're into video editing and stuff, definitely comment down below if you need help on how to go about starting a video editing business, because there's so much money to be made. Like, if you learn some skills that are related to marketing, especially when you're a video editor, you're going to be making so much money. I guarantee you that. If you want to see me actually starting a business from scratch, literally physically designing the logo, getting the website up, then here's a video that documents the raw reality of me starting a business from scratch.